Hello and welcome with IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live and interactive news conversation web TV. I'm Prachi Jatanya. It seems that exit polls have given a clean sweep to BJP in Bihar. Bihar with the caste factor seems to play an important role. So will Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's 2 consecutive terms be challenged this time around? To get us more perspective on what the predictions by pollsters is for Bihar, we have in the studio Mr. Sanjay Singh. He's a senior journalist with firstpost.com. Also, we have Mr. N.R. Mohanty, who is with the Jagran Media Institute, the director there. In fact, he's also been the resident editor in Patna with the Hindustan Times. Thank you both for giving us time and coming to our studio for India Post Live at the conversation. We also have Mr. Saibal Das Gupta joining us from New Delhi. He's a senior journalist. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We'll also have more interesting guests, including Mr. Sudeep Srivastava, who is an RTI activist and a political researcher, joining us on Google Hangout, and Mr. Kanhaiya Bhelari, who's a contributing editor of Governance Now. We'll just come to you, Mr. Mohanty, in terms of the kind of poll predictions that we are getting with Times Now ORG giving BJP about 28 seats, CNN, IBN, CSDS poll also giving 24. What kind, is it a little of an overestimation? What do you read with the numbers?
I think this time the exit poll would be a bit misleading because this time for the first time elections are becoming triangular, really triangular. In Bihar, it's a really triangular fight. JDU has been a powerful institution. BJP under Modi has waged a huge campaign. And RJD Congress also become a major life force. And that's the reason why this kind of a projection, like Times Now projecting only 2 seats to Congress RJD, I think that's absolutely not taken. And because the kind of samples they have taken, and the kind of articulation that has been done by people who have spoken out to these surveyors, there is a chance of misleading. BJP's supporters are the upper caste, and they are generally much more articulate. And they have absolutely no hesitation in telling about their choice. But the people who are from the backward caste, extreme backward caste, maybe Muslims, they have a problem in articulating. They would vote as per their own decision, community and other decisions. But they would not flaunt their support because that may bring in certain kind of action against them at a later stage. And that's the reason why this, only by going by the stated purpose of a certain voter section, the conclusions being drawn by exit poll could be absolutely misleading.
Sanjay sir, your take on what the pollsters are saying for Bihar. Will Nitish Kumar really have a tough battle this time?
See, broadly, I think what pollsters are saying is correct, except for the Times Now group projection, which says that 2 seats for Congress plus, which means RJD included, and 10 seats for JDU. I think the figures could be reversed, unless they have since then revised their own estimates. But broadly, that is the pattern. Bihar, this time, there is no triangular fight, except in few constituencies. JDU is in actual contention only in few constituencies. It's RJD versus the BJP. What has happened, that after Nitish Kumar quit or threw the BJP out of his government and exited from the NDA, situation on the ground had changed. Nitish Kumar could not translate his personal goodwill into kind of establishing same kind of rapport that he had with people in terms of caste, community, so on and so forth. Rise of Lalu Prasad Yadav. Lalu Prasad Yadav is actually retaining his Yadav and Muslim vote base. I have a word of caution in terms, some people are overestimating Lalu Yadav's comeback. The perception that Lalu Yadav is coming back is also giving rise to kind of a fear psychosis among various people that same Gunda Raj and Jangal Raj will come back if Lalu comes back. So Lalu Yadav is definitely getting his core supporters. His core supporters are definitely very charged. They have come back. Additionally, Lalu Yadav is getting votes of the caste of his candidates that he has fielded in various constituencies. So Lalu Yadav, of course, is there, but all in all, I don't think they are completely off the mark.
Right. I'll just read out what the post-poll vote survey, vote estimate with the NES 2014 post-poll survey findings are. Party-wise, BJP to LJP alliance in 2009, the actual vote share being 20.5%, whereas this time they are getting about 43%. The Congress, RJD, NCP tie-up getting about 29%, whereas they had the actual vote share again in 2009, which was exactly the same. The JDU getting in 2009 had 24%, whereas this time it is an estimate, vote estimate of 15%. And others about 13% in 2014, whereas they had over 25% in 2009. I'll just bring in Mr. Saibal Das Gupta at this point. He's been patiently waiting for us. Thank you so much, sir. We'd appreciate your insight on what our panelists have said. Would you feel that Lalu Prasad Yadav is back in the reckoning, and what about Nitish Kumar's development card? Will it work?
I think one correction, he is Saibal
think,
Gupta, not Saibal Das Gupta.
Let me summarize. Let me correct two things. My name is not Dasgupta.
Yes, Saibal Gupta. Yes, sir.
I'm not a journalist. I'm in science. I think it's very difficult to differ with what Mr. Mohanty and Mr. Sanjay Singh has said. I agree with them essentially. And what my suggestion is that if I can summarize Mr. Mohanty's contention about Bihar, I would like to say that there are three coalitions which is operating. I will not prognosticate on the basis of the seats here, but I will not prognosticate on the basis of the seat share, but I will say on the basis of the three coalition that has emerged. One is that coalition of articulate uppercut section, Mr. Mohanty has also mentioned, and other is the coalition of one section of the upper backward.
Right.
And third is coalition of non-powerful. So there are three broad coalitions which is operating in Bihar. Now, see the first coalition, the coalition of the upper caste, they are the most articulate, and second is the one section of the upper backwards, and the coalition of non-powerful. Now, this is not a very, this is not a watertight compartment. Is a passage from all these coalitions, but these are the broad coalitions that for the first time Bihar is seeing, because the coalition of extreme was crafted in 2005 in the parliamentary election, that is broken now. Now, in some sense, this is going to be the paradigm shift election after 1977. For the first time, a coalition of the non-powerful, whether that is operating at the ground level or not, that one will be seeing it. There is no doubt that because of the polarizing factor of Narendra Modi, Congress in Bihar and Lalu Prasad in Bihar has got resurrected. Now, what and the resurrection is up to what level? That will have to wait till the 16th. I do agree with Mr. Mohanty that it is difficult at this moment to prognosticate the exit poll result, because that result may not be very scientific. But nevertheless, one thing is very clear, which one should not doubt, that the broad opinion that is emerging in the country, that is on the way towards BJP or Narendra Modi,
Right.
because of various factors, because of the investment that has been made in this election campaign, and many disinformation that has been launched at their end. So various other things that which are operating simultaneously.
Right. I'll just
But
play out the caste, since we are talking on the caste factor, I'll just play out what the NES post-poll survey in terms of the graphics that we have, where the upper castes and the voting preference by the upper castes to the BJP, LJP combined would be 82%, whereas to the Congress RJD about 5% and JDU 7%. So, Sanjay sir, would you like to talk about how the complex caste dynamics continue to play a crucial part in the political discourse in Bihar?
See, this is broadly in continuation with what
Yes.
Sehwal was saying. And 82% I believe perfectly fine. That much of people are going towards BJP and actively chanting for Modi. And they are completely against Nitish Kumar. They were the people who kind of took the tally of Nitish Kumar's, and then JDU, BJP combined to 3/4. Also underprivileged, the third section that he was mentioning, silent voters or underprivileged and backward. They were the people who, the coalition of extremes that he is talking about, that coalition was there. 2005, 2010 also, in greater numbers. Now that has broken. This number is going obviously to the BJP. The crucial question is whether the third coalition that he is talking, Muslims are no longer afraid about talking about their preferences. They are so much charged up, or because anti-Modi or whatever, in certain parts, the election is so communally charged that people are actively voicing their preference. In this case, what has to be seen in Bihar as to where that third coalition that Sehwalji is talking about is going. Those silent voters, Mahadalits and Ati Pichra. Socially, if you look at it, they generally vote in sync with some upper caste support or some dominant backward caste support.
Right.
If that support is not there, that community is broadly taken to be JDUs. Also, there is competition between JDU and BJP to make a dent in that same constituency, Ati Pichra and Mahadalit.
Yes.
If they go by conventional logic, that they have to vote, or they do vote if they get support of some upper caste community or some backward caste vocal dominant community, in that case they may go to BJP. Bigger section of them would go to BJP. Otherwise, if there is a silent factor, may help JDU, and that would be a surprise factor in these elections.
So we'll take a graphics for the Yadavs, the Yadav community, giving 20% to the BJP, LJP alliance, whereas the RJD and Congress getting about 64% of the Yadav votes, and JDU getting a mere 5%. I'll just bring in Mr. Sudeep here at this point. Sir, what is your take on the caste preferences, especially the Yadavs giving a huge, margin to the RJD Congress?
Coming to that, I would like to add, as I have traveled across UP and Bihar, a lot of eastern part of UP and western and northwestern part of Bihar, the strike rate of BJP in UP would be much higher than in Bihar. Reason being, in UP, there is no party, no natural party representing non-Yadav OBCs. Whereas in Bihar, there is a party, JDU, which has scattered, which has made inroads in this section. And it has been said by other speakers also. And as far as the Yadav vote is concerned, after Lalu is coming out from jail, the Yadavs mainly feel if this time they don't support Lalu, that their party and their political clout will be under threat. So that prompted Yadavs, and I would say the 66% this graphic is showing is on the lower side. I found at least 80% similar to the upper caste supporting BJP, similar kind of percentage of Yadavs has supported RJD and Congress combined. The problem is because of this Rahul Gandhi's reluctance to share dais with Lalu Yadav. In the seats contested by Congress, Yadavs may not have voted in same percentage for Congress candidate. Because of that, this percentage has come down.
Right. Saibalji, what would you say to these views that are being exchanged here at this point in the Yadav support to the RJD Congress? And do you feel that Lalu Prasad has been successful in maintaining his secular credentials?
No, no. Point is there are two things. One is there is no competition about secularism, say between Nitish Kumar and Lalu Prasad. It's very difficult to say. Who will score higher? I'm talking in terms of, your caste figures also ratifies my contention that the three coalitions which are operating, and of course I did mention that these are not watertight compartments, as you have seen that 20% of the Jadhav are voting for BJP. Now, what is the actual ground reality, we know after 16. But I would like to mention about this non-articulate, non-powerful coalition of, as Mr. Sanjay Singh rightly mentioned, about lower backwards in Mahadalit. And he has not mentioned about this Pasmanda Muslim. Pasmanda Muslim is also non-articulate section within the Muslim community. The higher section, the upper caste within the Muslim, they are as articulate as upper caste in any parts of Bihar. But I would like to mention about one other constituency which is not being discussed, the women's constituency. In Bihar, Nitish Kumar has specially cultivated this constituency by positive discrimination in Panchayati Raj institutions and various other things. For example, 20% to Annexure 1, 10% to Dalit. Now, in the process, a woman constituency has emerged, which is not being discussed, and they are also not articulate. One of the things which has happened in Bihar, that because of positive discrimination in the Panchayati Raj institution, what Lalu Prasad had done in the realm of social justice, Nitish Kumar has broken the lower power center in a very decisive manner. Now, in the process, there is a huge reaction to that. That is why the upper caste in Bihar, or even one section of the upper backwards, they are very much hostile to the present government. Now, whether the counter coalition against the coalition of extreme which Nitish has been trying to work out in Bihar, whether that will succeed or not, that we'll see after 16th result. But I think this is in some sense a paradigm shift election, that even if it is not succeeding this time, this will certainly succeed in the next assembly election.
Okay, I'll just
because
bring...
now the only one point, that the process of democratization which was started in 1990s, that process of democratization will continue, and even if it is not witnessed this time, the future direction is that the coalition of non-powerful will ultimately trump in the political firmament of Bihar in future.
Right. I'll just bring in Mohanty sir at this point. He's talking about the increase in democratization and a paradigm shift this time in terms of Bihar and the electoral politics there. What is your take? You know, we'll take in the graphics for Dalits, the other OBCs and Dalits, the kind of post-poll survey predictions for those. The graphics coming up here is actually showing that the other OBCs getting about 47%. I think we have the wrong the wrong graphics, I believe. But I'll just read it out to you. Dalits and the other OBCs giving a huge chunk of vote share, 47 to the BJP, LJP, and 51% Dalits and OBCs, whereas about 11 and 12% to the RJD Congress and 17 and 22% to the JDU. So there seems to be, what the Congress RJD is losing out on. This is the caste factor. If you can just take a look and tell us about that kind of a dynamics that's playing out.
I mean, Dalit factor, of course, Ram Vilas Paswan was a factor which was supposed to have been part of the alliance, but because of the issues of seat allocations, has gone to BJP. That has, of course, added to the support of BJP's Dalit base. And the Mahadalit sections which Sanjay was talking about, which Sehwal was also talking about, that is a factor which Nitish Kumar tried to nurture. I believe Nitish Kumar, apart from the developmental dynamics, development as the first parameter, always knew when it comes to brass tacks in Bihar, it is the caste that matters. That's the reason why he has deliberate. He has right from the beginning. There was a parallel move. Apart from the developmental syndrome, there was a social engineering. And that social engineering, he always knew the Muslims have to be won over because they are a sizable community. Jadavs he cannot win over, and that's why he has to get the non-Jadav extreme backward caste and Mahadalits, and as he said, Pashmanda Muslims. Muslims within Muslims, the upper caste Muslims are with Lalu Yadav, so lower caste Muslims, he gave Ali Anwar Rajya Sabha ticket, and they are the people who try to bring in. But whether this social engineering is going to deliver, that's the biggest enigma. This time, whether the consciously built up social engineering over the last 6-7 years, will it deliver, or is it that they will get completely swayed by the Modi magic?
Factor. I'll just bring in Sanjay sir's point on this, the Modi factor, the Modi wave. You see, Nitish Kumar has always been nurturing the dream of being a prime ministerial candidate, but exit polls, surveys, etc., don't seem to be getting him that kind of a support base or a vote share. Do you feel that, with Narendra Modi wave taking over Bihar, that becomes a big factor in getting the vote share more towards the BJP?
Two things. When Nitish Kumar split up with BJP, obviously in name of opposing Narendra Modi's elevation to Prime Minister's candidate, Nitish Kumar gave a counter narrative to what Modi was saying. Nitish Kumar is very articulate. In Bihar, remember, as compared to any other state, Modi is facing two very articulate challenges, who are good orators, Lalu Prasad Yadav and Nitish Kumar. Absolutely. I don't think in any other state, Modi has that kind of challenge. Also, the state leadership, of course, BJP is there for a long time, but there is no singular mobilizing leader out there in Bihar. As compared to UP, of course, Amit Shah, there is no Amit Shah out there in Bihar. But then, Nitish Kumar presented a counter narrative. He was so articulate, speaking in a language which was difficult to counter, and therefore media lapped it up, Nitish Kumar's narrative. It carried on till such time it could not sustain on the ground in terms of social coalitions. The structure that Sehwalji was talking about, that segment of underprivileged, non-articulate, silent voters, including women. Two things have to look out there, whether women as a voter vote independently of family kind of perspective and lookout. In some areas it is happening, but whether that is happening in Bihar, and of course women who are activists, they go and vote, cast their vote according to their preferences. But vast chunk of women folk, will they vote? Will they vote against, independently of their family wishes or the kind of voting pattern that is there within family and within community. Secondly, Modi successfully he marketed himself as Chaiwala, as OBC, and of course Nitish Kumar challenged his OBC credentials, but Modi somehow has managed to convey that feeling. He is anti-intellectual, anti-urban, though he dresses very stylishly, but he presents a kind of narrative that is anti-intellectual, anti-English.
Right.
So that Chaiwala OBC narrative has gone home in certain pockets of OBCs. Dalits, a section of Dalits, because Paswan only represents his Paswan, Dosad, they again are very aggressive community out there in Bihar. They not only vote, but also express their voting preferences.
Right. I'll just interrupt you, sorry sir. Basically, we'll look at the graphics here, the choice of prime ministers that the poll survey, NES asked people to put a vote for. Narendra Modi getting about 42% in the 2014 vote share percentage, whereas Rahul Gandhi getting about 14%. They conducted a similar poll in January and March of 2014, where Rahul Gandhi had much dipped levels of vote share, 9 to 10%, whereas it came up to about 14% 13%, Nitish Kumar getting about 10%, in towards the end of the 8th phase, whereas Lalu Prasad Yadav getting 7%, and there were people, a percentage who had 20% said they could not really say who would make a good prime ministerial choice. People in Bihar felt that it could be Narendra Modi having a greater say. The personality cult that seems to have, gone in favor of Narendra Modi. I'll bring in Saibal ji here. Sir, if you've been listening to what our studio panelists have been saying, would you like to talk about the Modi wave and 42% backing Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister candidate, but Nitish Kumar coming across as a strong contender as well?
No, I mean, it will be absolutely erroneous if we say that the Modi factor is not working. But I would like to say that it is not a Modi wave, it is a Modi stir which is operating. And stir means that even in a rural area, for example, in Inspector Bush village, it is a stir. And the stir which has been worked out in Bihar or in other parts of the world, other parts of India, is substantial. Because Bihar has developed, it's 12% growth. We are having now television. There is a dramatic improvement in electricity.
Sir, I'll have to interrupt you. We have a lot of disturbance coming. We'll just bring in Sudeep ji here at this point to talk about the Narendra Modi factor.
Narendra Modi, though I am not able to see the graphics because this computer is not being shown. This 42% as the Prime Minister choice. And if I correctly remember, earlier you told that 43% vote share is in favor of BJP alliance.
Yes.
So my my understanding about this exit polls and opinion polls is, if a prime ministerial candidate or a leader is getting a certain percentage, then the vote share of that particular party would be much lower. So I with due respect, I found these data is a bit contradictory in itself. Because if 42% is Prime Minister choice, and if you go to the constituency-wise equation, then the appreciation and vote, these are two very different things. I might prefer Narendra Modi as a Prime Minister. Still, I would end up as voting to Raghuvansh Prasad Singh, being a Rajput to a Rajput candidate.
Right.
So the Prime Ministerial, the leadership appreciation percentage, if it's 42%, then the vote share must be 5-6% lower than that. Moreover, this Narendra Modi wave, Narendra Modi's wave is, I don't call it as a wave, because wave, if you are able to garner support in every community, every segment. This is acute polarization. This is acute polarization, and Narendra Modi is able to polarize the constituency which he preferred to, which he found they can vote for him.
Right.
Except in UP, except Chamar and Muslims. So is in Bihar, except Muslims and a certain section of society like Mahadalits and others.
Right, sir. Like, since
So
you're talking,
amongst these,
go ahead, sir.
amongst OBCs and upper caste, he has definitely have a wave. And this polarization has also resulted in counter polarization. And there are seat-to-seat equations. So it's too early to term it as a completely Narendra Modi charisma all over.
Right.
Because
We'll just quickly take the Muslims factor. The Muslim factor, CNN, IB and CSDS had given about 22% share to, to BJP, LJP, with the Muslims community voting towards them.
I don't believe this. I don't believe this.
Whereas RJD Congress giving 69%, whereas the NES post-poll survey gives only 3% to the BJP, LJP and 21% to the JDU through the Muslim community, sir.
not more than 5%. That is 5% is the upper limit. Not more than 5% of Muslim minority Muslim would vote for BJP. And because of the prospect of these opinion polls and lot of media thing that Narendra Modi is coming to power, they might have been misleading those surveyors.
Okay.
This 22% I just don't believe.
Okay, we'll just take the last point in terms of the issues, developmental issues or issues that concern every voter in Bihar. What were the top 3 issues according to you that you felt, actually ruled the entire voting scenario in Bihar this time? Sanjay.
See, difficult to categorize in terms of actual issues, because there is one thing for sure, that this imagination, Modi has fired an imagination of vast section of people. And also, over a period of time, Nitish Kumar, why did Nitish Kumar succeed in Bihar? Because he came as a contrast to Lalu Prasad Yadav's Lalu Prasad Yadav was messiah of underdevelopment. And plus Mandal card and whatsoever,
Yes.
and secular messiah as he was after arresting L.K. Advani.
Yes.
From there on, second term of Nitish Kumar, so that aspiration of development of course is there. These are parliamentary elections. People of Bihar, as across the nation, as we progress from one election to another, in Bihar and UP particularly, people are very politically conscious. They know that this is parliamentary elections. They may vote differently when it comes to assembly elections. Maybe that has to happen next year, but my gut feeling is it could be advanced given the political scenario that could emerge after results are counted. In that sense, Narendra Modi has definitely an upper hand, a cake in his hand. Nitish Kumar's Lalu Prasad Yadav has not presented a counter narrative to that. That is the surprising factor out there. What Lalu Prasad Yadav has to offer in terms of governance, in terms of going there, or in terms of presenting an alternate in Delhi, that is card of secularism.
Right.
That secularism card is coming as a check dam, as a barrier to Modi. Nitish Kumar unfortunately does not have to present anything at the center.
Yes.
Third front has not taken up, federal front has not taken. In that sense, Nitish Kumar again, sometimes once he said that he of course is a prime ministerial candidate, he could be made to be a good prime minister, but then subsequently he backed out. In these 3 scenarios, Narendra Modi definitely has something to convey. His party has definitely something to convey. Lalu Prasad Yadav had something to convey. Vis-a-vis politics at the center, Nitish Kumar unfortunately did not have that much to convey to people.
So a catch-22 situation for Nitish Kumar. One final statement from you, sir, Mr. Mohanty. We'll take this forward on our social media forum and carry forward the discussion there, sir. Do you feel Nitish Kumar is in a catch-22 that, he seems to have been possibly become the one who will lose out a huge vote share?
Yeah, the moment he decided to split with BJP, he knew that there will be a depletion of the votes there. But he thought he would be able to consolidate the Muslim vote base, because on the question of Muslim secularism, he is splitting with Narendra Modi and BJP. But that has not happened.
Right.
That has not happened. Sizable chunk, some sections of Muslims of course will be there. But as it seems, sizable section have gone with Lalu Yadav, because Muslims also see it as a national election. And in the national election, they feel that the Congress, RJD are the polar opposite of BJP, not JDU of Nitish Kumar. And possibly, if the assembly election takes place 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, it's possible that Nitish Kumar, they will back Nitish Kumar. Because in the state of Bihar, they would say he sacrificed his position for their own interest. So that will be, it's possible that because of various factors, Nitish loses out in this election, but because of his developmental paradigm on the one hand, and because of social engineering paradigm on the other, he would possibly stand to gain in the assembly elections.
Interesting. On that note, we'll announce the contest Hum Bole predictions. You can also predict what kind of vote share and seats that possible that you can predict as an exit pollster yourself. Hum Bole contest with grand prizes including a sedan car on our website and our Twitter handle at you can hashtag Hum Bole at India Post Live, and our website has indiapostlive.com. Fill up a form and participate and win given exciting prizes, and you can revise the final tally of your exit poll predictions till May 16. We'll have to wait and see which way will the Bihar vote share, which way will it sway? Will the Modi factor play a bigger role? And what is the way forward for Nitish Kumar? We'll take forward this conversation on our Twitter and our social media page. Thank you so much, all of you, for giving us an interesting insight and perspective. Mr. Sudeep Srivastava, Mr. Saibal Gupta, who is in fact the member secretary of the ADRI. I'm sorry for the earlier mistake. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. N.R. Mohanty and Sanjay Singh Sir, political editor at firstpost.com. Put in your feedback and comments and take forward this conversation on our website, indiapostlive.com. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.